Would you like to discover the 5 secrets to learn what is insecurity in psychology and what causes insecurity? I'm Antia, founder and creator of the Magnetize The Man Method. And look, insecurity happens to the best of us, which is often caused by a lack of certainty and a whole lot of anxiety. So let me tell you more about the 5 secrets, what is insecurity in psychology, and also how you can change it. So the first secret is negative past experiences and emotional baggage. That is right. So much of our insecurity doesn't actually lie in this current moment, yet it lasts in not even the past. It actually lays in what we call the memory of our past. Look, there is so much research has been done that proves that we're not even memorizing and remembering our past accurately. So we're just going to say in the memory of our past. And so, of course, if there was any insecurity stirred within you, meaning, you were off the path with trusting, for example, your parents, right? If your parents were not responding the way you thought they would respond, if there was any surprises, and I'm not talking about the surprises you did want, but rather unexpected turmoils, trials, and tribulations, that can also add into feeling insecure inside of yourself. So think about it this way, right? You feel insecure when you feel rather unstable inside of yourself. And where is that instability coming from? From your past, right? So you're building, it's like building blocks, right? Well, from the memory and from the interpretation of your past, shall I say. And that's what we often also talk about when we talk about emotional baggage, right? If we're like, well, I'm more on the anxious side. I'm afraid of this, right? I don't really trust men really well. Where's all of that coming from? Well, it is coming from our past. So for me, for example, I grew up with a narcissistic mother. So right off the gate, right, trust is like down the drain, right? And I have many, many more clients that I work with that are highly successful, but yet also grew up in a much more narcissistic and emotionally abusive environment. And that will certainly have an impact of your sense of security in your life. So sign number 2 is your attachment style. So I mentioned a little bit already the response patterns from our parents to ourselves, especially when we look at the ages 0 to 24 months. Now, parents can respond in many different ways. They can respond reliably and consistently. They can respond inconsistently, or they cannot respond at all. For that, you can check out more of my videos on attachment style. But for the matter of this video, we really want to look at how's that feeding into insecurity. Well, look, we're actually building security from consistency. You may want to write that down. So the less consistency you had in your life, the more insecurity you will feel in your life as well. Well, why is that? Well, because you were more in the unknown. There was not a lot of certainty presented to you into your life. So my mom, she was not giving me the attention or the bottle or the love, the affection on a regular basis. Sometimes I got it and sometimes I didn't. And it felt more like I was like a gambler almost, right? And I was like in this roulette of life and I don't know what I'm going to get today. That causes a lot of anxiety and, of course, insecurity. Now, in order to start healing this on this particular level, check out more of my videos. Secret number 3 is lack of personal purpose. Now, a lot of times we're talking about security on many different levels, the mental level, the emotional level, and the energetic level. And then, of course, also the physical level. But oftentimes the emotional and the energetic level are really connected to our personal purpose. Why are we here in this world? You see, when we don't have a personal purpose, the personal mission that drives us, besides the partner that we want to attract into our life and pleasing other people and sort of living in a day-to-day life and just kind of functioning over feeling, right? We oftentimes tend to get lost because we don't have that true North Star, right? Like your personal purpose is your true North Star. And so that actually helps you with your alignment, that helps you to overcome resistance, and helps you to gain massive momentum of motivation when things are not going so well. However, when you don't have that North Star, that personal purpose inside of you, what oftentimes tends up happening is you tend to feel lost and you tend to get confused, distracted, and ultimately even depressed. So what's really important about it is finding a sense of fulfillment outside of your dating life. Also, don't forget, you need to have that sense of security inside of yourself when you enter a relationship, because otherwise you start up to have more of a codependent pattern versus a healthy, independent, and a nourishing and a flourishing pattern inside of you. So in order to find out, okay, like what is my personal purpose, you want to actually ask yourself, like, what is it that I love to do as a little girl, for example, and why did I like to do that? Right? So not like what your parents wanted you to do. Yeah, I have lots of different clients from different cultures, like the Indian culture, all sorts of different cultures where it's sometimes pretty prevalent what the parents want, right? And not so much like what you want. Or it's simply really expected, it's just really expected because it gives you like a higher ranking in your caste, in the social structure, in your system, right? You could also just simply come from a more conservative and more constricted and rule-driven household where this applies as well. So it's really important to understand, like, what do I love to do? What makes my heart sing? What would I get up for if nobody even paid me for it? That is a little bit getting more on purpose with your own mission, with your own passion. For this and so much more, I will do more videos on. And secret number 4 is negative self-talk, and on top of that, also negative cognitive patterns. Now, we have to understand that, of course, what is it, like 70% of what we're telling ourselves every day is the same. Right? So you want to make sure, okay, how can I start having a positive self-talk? You see, when you have a negative self-talk, what ends up happening is your neurons actually remember it, and the pathways become stronger and stronger and thicker, and they actually act as reality. But what you want to do instead, you actually want to thin, so to say, the bridges of those neurons and actually have them eventually collapse so you can rebuild new neuronal pathways inside of yourself. So you can actually start interrupting those negative thought patterns inside of yourself. So for example, you could say, well, there's no good men out there, right? Or, I'm too fill in the blank. I always said, like, I'm too German. Right? So somebody else could say, I'm too much, I'm too big, I'm too bold, I'm too selfish, I'm not selfish enough, so you fill in the blank. So you have all your negative self-talk, right? It's not going to last anyways. He's probably just interested in me because fill in the blank. So you have all this negative self-talk. But what you want to understand is, hold on, it's actually not about that talk in the moment. You want to understand what happened before you even entered that self-talk. If that makes sense. What was that pivot point, right? So maybe I had one client, she's now happily married, but what she told me is like, when she got up in the morning, like she just felt like she just got off with the wrong foot out of her bed, right? And so, she would just get up too late, and then from that point on, it was just a downward spiral. So you want to really look at, okay, what happens before the negative self-talk? Did you not exercise? Did you not eat right? Did you have a conversation with your girlfriend that pulled you down because maybe her boyfriend broke up with her, right? Maybe you spent too much time with your parents. So you really want to see, where's this negative self-talk actually coming from? And then you want to interrupt it. For example, this morning, I told my husband, how can this day even more quantum leaping, shape-shifting, and momentum building? Imagine you creating your morning like that, which leads me to one of the solutions, which is actually asking yourself powerful questions. How can I be even more aware of the amazing men that are already around me? How can I be even more aware of my thought patterns that is so positive and so encouraging and so nurturing and nourishing to my body and to my mind and to my heart, and so on. So you can bring many of those kind of questions into your life and ideally you start with that. Or if you had a conversation with somebody that like, it's more of a negative Nelly, you want to actually stop for a moment and fill yourself with those positive questions as well. You see, there was research been done where actually students were writing down before they took an exam, like an affirmation, right? Like the affirmation would be, I'm going to get an A, right? I'm so getting an A, right? I already have that A, right? And the other group of students, they were actually writing down, how am I getting the A? So you notice I was using more questions versus affirmations, because research actually shows that it goes much deeper and it is much more effective. And sign number 5 is not seeing the valuable things about you. Now, look, this is really important because we're so good at seeing the negative ones, right? You know, when my husband and I, we did our Find the One summits, and we had many very, very successful singles, handsome singles, men and women, right? And ironically, they were so good at like describing what's wrong with them. You know, what are the challenges, right? You know, I'm too thick, I'm too thin, I'm too blonde, I'm too brunette, I'm not smart enough, I'm too smart. Like, you fill in the blank, right? So they had so many things. As a matter of fact, they're such great lawyers in making a case why they're not worthy and why they're not valuable. But what you actually want to do instead is filling, why are you valuable? Why are you a catch? Right? Like, what are those amazing attributes about yourself? You know, how caring are you? How patient are you? How much of a connector are you? Maybe you're good at solving puzzles. You know, maybe you're like actually really emotionally driven and you make everybody feel home. Everybody has different gifts, and they're at the mental level, they're at the emotional level, they're at the energetic level, and they also at the physical level. So maybe you're a massively amazing athlete and you're super flexible, or you're a yoga teacher or whatever, right? But you have this like body intelligence. So everybody has their gifts, because look, what happens is when you don't see the valuable things about you, then two things are going to happen. Either you're going to attract men who are also not seeing the valuable things about you, or number 2, that when someone else, and it doesn't have to be a man, sees valuable things about you and says, wow, you are so smart, you are so inquisitive, I love the kind of questions that you ask, they're so thought through, they're so creative, they're so innovative, so refreshing, right? That you can actually not take it in as truth. You actually almost think like it's faked. It's sort of like pretense, because you don't see it inside of yourself, which is the real tragedy of life, when you actually get what you want, but you're not able to accept it. So look, if you are interested in learning more about this, then I invite you to take my Magnetize Your Man quiz by hopping over to magnetizeyourman.com. Click that link right below this video, and it would tell you so much about where are you insecure, where are you avoidant, where are you more connected to yourself, and what do you need to do to find the right balance to feel super secure inside of yourself. Well, look, if you love this video, like it, share it with your girlfriends, and of course, subscribe as well. This is it for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. Much love to you. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Mwah!